I decided to upgrade my home solar system with a Basengreen 16kWh lithium battery. They're a feature-rich large home battery, and the price, you're just going to have to wait to the end to believe it. First I'm going to show you the battery so you don't have to wait, and then I'm going to talk about what I look for in a home solar battery. Then I'm going to tell you how I bought it, how I imported it from China into New Zealand, and finally how cheap they are. Okay, let's start unwrapping the box. I found one way to get these tabs open is to put the screwdriver in from the top. So let's get him bent up. Let me open up all the other tabs. Okay, I'll just get some pliers so I can finish bending them up the rest of the way. Alright, let's try and get this lid off. Alright, got a bit of hardware. It's come with some battery cables, some hefty bolts for mounting into the wall. Looks like some general battery lugs and communication cables. There's also this wall-mounted battery instruction manual. All the dip switches, looks good, all in English. Beautiful. Alright, let's see if we can get this giant foam insert out. Okay, I think we're there. I think to make it easy, I'll take off the sides as well. There's wheels pre-fitted to the bottom, and I can just kind of lift the battery up on my own. So I think if I get the sides off, I'll better tip it up onto its wheels. I think I found a better way for undoing these tabs, so with the screwdriver. So once you've got them pinned down, oh, this one's a bit trickier. If you just push the screwdriver into the bottom, you can leave them down so they're flat. And I think that makes an easy way to take them off. Alright, so I've got the sides off the box. It's got wheels on the bottom. In fact, that's one of the whole reasons I bought this one. And it's got these handles at the top. So I'm going to see if I'm strong enough where I can just lift it up and then slide it onto its wheels. Wish me luck. Alright, need to get it past that. Let's have another look. I need to make sure I get it past this metal lip so it doesn't scratch it up. I'm going to see if I can slide it along and then lift it up. Yep, now I've got the foam over the lip, so fingers crossed I can lift it up now. Oh, that worked perfectly. There were several of these little screws on the bottom underneath the battery. Not quite sure where they're from, but I'll have a little look and see if I can find any missing holes. A quick walk around the battery. You can see we've got insulated terminals, lots of comms ports, a proper breaker, various dip switches. We got a wall mount for mounting it to the wall. Not sure what that is, maybe just a hand grip. And then we've got the display and the big charging indicator. I'm going to install the battery somewhere around this wall, and I've got an existing battery isolator already fitted. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to fit some conduit down the wall, and then maybe some flexible conduit from the end over to where the battery's going to go. I've got my battery cables prepared and the conduit runs ready to attach to the wall now. I think I'm going to wall mount this to the wall so if there's an earthquake it won't tip over. So I'm just going to put little markers where the wall mount brackets will come, and then I'll take them off and screw them in. I've just finished mounting the wall mount bracket. Now in my case the battery's going to sit on the floor, and I'm only going to use this wall mount bracket to prevent the battery tipping over during an earthquake style event. Otherwise mounting into plasterboard like this would never be strong enough to hold the battery's weight. In this case I've used 10 kilogram fixings, and I've actually used 6 of those, and then I've used 2 extra long 75mm long screws that screw into the timber, so it should be able to stop at least 60 kilograms of force coming off the wall, but it's not likely to tip that much. I just tested the battery system, everything's working good, so now I'm going to finish it up. I think I'm going to put a little bit of conduit here to give mechanical protection for the last of these wires, so we'll come back once that's all done. Alright, that's all the trunking installed, and I've given the thing a wipe down, and I've put in all the regulatory stickers and warnings that I need around the battery. Next step, let's have a look at the battery itself. The battery has a colour touch screen. We'll just go through some of the options here. Well, you can see on the main panel it shows whether it's charging or discharging, so mine's currently discharging. The state of charge 62%, you can see the state of health, and you can see the time remaining, and just some various other information like voltage, current, and the BMS status. This little button here takes you into the settings. Main things you can change here, or let's go and have a quick look. So about tells you all the firmware versions. Theme, so do you want it light or dark mode? Language, lets you change it from English to lots of other languages. Protocol, so this is what you want to emulate. So you got the CAN protocol, and it supports lots and lots of different battery systems. And then you've got the RS485 protocol, and same deal again here. Most people will probably only be connecting up the CAN port. All right, we'll go back there. Next one down is, we're on that screen, sorry, at the moment. Next one down tells you about all the individual cells. So it highlights 2 cells here, the one with the highest voltage and the one with the lowest voltage. And it does have an active cell balancer to keep them all in line. And then you've got lots of other things here like temperatures and all sorts of other stats. So we'll just click on home and go back again. And then the last one shows you about the BMS health. So currently I've got no alerts, so everything is very happy. We'll just go through the connectors on the side. It has this little black internal Bluetooth antenna here. There's a 125 amp breaker, an earthing connector, if you're stacking the batteries, this lets you set a battery number. If all the dip switches are to this side, that's a 0, and that means this is a standalone battery. Otherwise, if you had multiple batteries, you'd slide that first one along. That means this would be battery 1, and this is just using base 2. You also got a state of charge indicator here, although you've got the giant LED on the front, so you shouldn't need that too much. Next, you've got an RS485 connector. So some inverters use these, and that's where you'd probably plug your inverter in if it used it. Pretty much every inverter is going to use a CAN bus connector, so that's that one. I do not know what this RS232 connector is for. And then these RS485B and C connectors are if you're stacking more of these units together. And obviously these are the battery terminals, and if you're stacking them, so I've got this one going to my inverter and this one going to my inverter. If I was stacking them, I'd have a cable going from here to the next battery. So that's the Basengreen battery. Why did I choose it? First, I'm only interested in 48 volt battery systems. The problem with proprietary battery systems is that you're completely tied into them. If the company ceases to exist, you're on your own. If the company decides to make a new version and stop making the old version, you're on your own. I feel for all the Tesla Powerwall 2 owners who can no longer buy upgrades because once Tesla started making the Powerwall 3, they stopped making the Powerwall 2, and Powerwall 3 and 2 are not compatible with each other. 48 volt technology is generic and can be used with lots of different kinds of batteries and inverters. If you want to upgrade a component in your system, you can. If something dies, you can get a generic replacement. I'm not keen on AC coupled battery systems due to the increased losses compared to DC coupled battery systems. I'd rather use the energy myself than throwing it away in heat doing an AC to DC to AC conversion. Once you've decided what kind of battery technology you want to use, the next thing to figure out is what size battery you need. That's going to depend on how much solar generation you have and what your demand profile is going to look like. My next big concern is safety. I like how the Basengreen batteries have built-in breakers. So that means everything is protected from the battery, from the terminals, all the way up to the cabling. Even if you did a dead short across the battery terminals, the system is inherently safe because it has breakers that would blow, will pop, and protect everything. Next, I look for a BMS that includes a balancer. The Basengreen battery has a top-of-the-line Tian 200 amp BMS, which has an active balancer. Without a balancer, your battery might last 10 years, but as each year goes on, the capacity you can use will diminish faster as the cells become more and more unbalanced. The Tian 200 BMS also has Bluetooth, and you can monitor the battery system using a mobile app. The Basengreen battery also comes with a USB to RS485 cable, so you can just plug the battery into your computer, and Basengreen makes some software you can download that lets you monitor and configure every minute detail of the battery. The Basengreen battery has many certificates, including a certificate of conformity in Europe, and because of our trade agreement with Europe, we recognise European Declaration of Conformities in New Zealand for low voltage equipment such as lithium batteries. We're almost up to the stage of the landed price, but let's talk about how you order one of these. So I'm going to put the link in the description below, but basically you go to their Alibaba store, and when you get here, they have the battery available in many sizes. So this one here is the 16 kilowatt hour one. So you just simply click on that and we'll scroll down. So you say you want one, here it is, one of these 16 kilowatt ones. And then you send an inquiry. And then once you've done that, they'll have a little chat with you via Alibaba chat, and then they'll send you a quote. The freight will include delivery to the port of your choice in Auckland. So in my case, it was Ports of Auckland. And the delivery agent ended up being ABBA Logistics. So hopefully if you order it and it goes to Auckland, it'll turn up there for you as well. And from there, you've got to arrange to get it cleared. It looks like they offer a customs clearance service as well. I didn't know where it was going to end up when I originally ordered mine, so I spoke to Michelle at Madigan Freight Services, and she acted as my customs broker. She filed all of the paperwork and made it really easy. There was about 1 million forms to do with dangerous goods declarations because of the lithium batteries, and she took care of everything. So I would happily recommend using Madigan Freight Services again if you wanted some help getting it imported. Michelle also arranged the truck delivery to my home, made sure it was a truck that had a tailgate because I don't have a forklift at my home to unload it. And when it's boxed up, it does weigh 150 kilograms. From the time I ordered the battery to the time it arrived, it took about 2 months. And finally, the question everyone wants to know, what did it cost? The battery cost me $1,280 US, and at the time the New Zealand exchange rate was about 60 cents, so that came out to be 2,100 New Zealand dollars. Now the battery is about 0.3 of a cubic meter, and the smallest unit you can buy for shipping is 1 cubic meter. So the US freight from China to New Zealand was $475. But of note is if you buy 2 batteries, it's still $475 because it's less than 1 cubic meter. Then there was the ABBA import costs of $690 and the Madigan custom broker costs of $1,139. Now, some of this is based on 1 cubic meter and some of it's based on the price. So if you buy 2 batteries, these numbers here won't double. And because I wanted a bit of more certainty, I also decided to take out freight insurance on the New Zealand side, and that cost me $350. So all up, I spent 5,124 New Zealand dollars to have it delivered to my door at home. If I was doing it again, I think I would be quite tempted to try ordering in 2 batteries to get the benefit of some of this cubic meter of freight space I've bought, because potentially that would you could get the battery down closer to $4,500 and just sell the second battery in New Zealand at cost. So that was my experience with choosing and importing a Basengreen battery from China. The Basengreen people were great communicators. The battery has just been rock solid, reliable. It was super easy to set up, straightforward to install, well packed. If I was doing it again, I would absolutely buy it again. I've been very happy with this purchase. So I hope that's helped you in choosing a home battery to use for your system.